Hey guys, so today we've got a relatively easy project here. We are taking some factory super faded flares off of this 98 TJ. We're going to stick on these steel flat flares here. They're just an Amazon special here. I'll throw a link for that in the description. So we're going to start up here with the front. First thing you want to do is disconnect this light here. All it is you reach around the back. There's a little plug in it, you twist it counterclockwise, and then your light pops out. After that, you're going to want a 5/16, either a socket or a box end, and then there's about maybe a dozen, or probably less than that, just little bolts in here that hold the front flare on. So I'm going to pull that off, and then we'll see where we're at. Alright, so I did get one side off here. Just a couple notes. Most of these bolts that come through here, looks like there's 10 of them here. Most of them do have these little, they're just plastic nuts basically on the back that hold these bolts on. They're right around on the back side, so they'll spin a lot. You might want to, sometimes you can stick your hand up there and hold them. Other times you got to grab a pliers or something to grab them. But look, these first three here, 1, 2, 3 coming up the back, those do have riveted into nutserts, so those ones aren't going to have those. Those are just going to, you're going to back the screws right out of those. Sometimes you got to reach your hand up underneath the fender here and apply a little bit of pressure backwards on them if they're old or stuck or stripped out a little bit, but they should come off. And then on the back of the fender here, there's 1 tab and 2 tabs, and those just go into these spots here. And so this fender will still stay on there once you've pull out the screws, then you just kind of pull a little bit and pop it off. So the next one we're going to go to here is the back, and I don't think there are quite as many here. I think there's only 6 holding this back one in. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that one off and then see what we got there. Alright, so we managed to get the back ones off here. This bottom one here is a standard nutsert. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one all have the same little backer styles right here, and these bottom 2 here are nutserts as well. Some of those nutserts may get stuck. This bottom one here did. What I ended up doing with that is just grabbing the head of the bolt actually with vice grips and just rolling it out of there. I'll probably just use a nut and a washer and a new bolt to just go through that one rather than reusing something like that. In order to get to these upper ones here, you do have to pull this inner fender liner, which is this plastic piece that sits up in here. There's 2 plastic push pins. There's one here and one down here on the front side, and on the rear side occasionally there's one right underneath this lip here. Otherwise there's 2 here inside the fender well back a little bit more, and then 1 towards the back of the Jeep here. So that one's off, and then we also did pull these front little back ones off the front here. These are all actually factory nutserts. I did have one in the front here spin, and I just pulled that one out with the vice grips as well, just like this. Those do not want to come. I've tried holding the back of them with the vice grips and then still pulling it doesn't work. So these 2 thankfully came out really nicely because there's no way to get to the back of those. But yeah, so we got the whole side off here, and next thing to do is start putting these metal ones on. Alright, so we finally got one of them on here. Unfortunately with this set, none of the holes that they provide in these fenders actually line up with the factory ones, and they give you a bunch of self-tappers and just expect you to go into the tub, and this Jeep's a little too clean to be drilling new holes in the tub. So I actually just took a handful of clamps, clamped this fender where I wanted it on here, and then found the factory holes on the back side here and drilled through and put holes in the fender, or the steel flare here, in the factory location, so I could reuse factory fasteners and not have to put new holes in the tub. Now these are powder coated, but because they're steel, I didn't want steel on steel either, so I I took a piece of rubber. Let me show you what we got going on right here. So here's the other driver's one, and you can see here the see if we can get that to focus. Right here is the hole that came with the fender, and here's where the factory hole is. And I mean, they're not that far off for some of them. Some of them are actually really close. I'm not quite sure what the deal is with that or why they did that, but it wasn't too terrible to do. And then I just used some 60 mil rubber roofing actually. Flipped these upside down, set it on here, traced it, and then cut it out. You can see I've kind of got like a fender looking shape of rubber there. And I'm gonna just right up on top, poke through the holes, and then that can actually get sandwiched in between there, and that will stop any vibration and keep it from being metal on metal to help keep the corrosion down. So I'm gonna get this one on. Then we're going to go ahead and do the back ones as well. One other thing I did do is, because these are just tack welded every now and then, I didn't want any gap in here where water could collect, even though it's on the inside. So I took a clear silicone and just ran a bead all the way through there on the back side of all of these, so they're not, let's see here, that way they're not going to collect water and hopefully keep the corrosion down a little bit longer than otherwise. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get this one on, and then get those ones, get some rubber cut off, and then go ahead and see what issues run into the back, and then do a wrap up. Alright, good morning folks. We actually wrapped this project up late last night. I wanted to get it out in the sun before I kind of did a walk around and talked about the last couple things here. In the back you can see here, if the sun allows me, none of the holes back here lined up either. So I kind of did the same thing, stuck some clamps on the tub here and held them in place, and then marked and drilled from the back side where I could. Again, did some rubber pieces in between there for the back as well. Overall they turned out pretty nice. Apart from the fitment is good, apart from the holes not being in the right place. So got a little bit of cleanup to do. Plug these holes where the little side step flares were, and get the inner fenders back in. Kind of just do an overall winter cleanup. But yeah, wasn't too bad if you know what you're getting into. Again, I'll post a link for these in the comments, and then I guess that's kind of it for this one. I'm going to give this one a bath today and get started on some other projects, so hopefully we'll be looking at another video soon. Alright, thanks for watching.